We have Moroccans, Turkish people, people from Africa. That's the new problem for the far-right persons in Europe.
We are now 70 years after the end of the Second World War. Do you think that there are efforts to rewrite history in the world today and the memory of the Second World War is being manipulated?
Not manipulated, but when you talk about the Second World War, Russian is also part of that, because Poland is invaded by Germany and Russia. And what we have seen, that England and France have declared Germany the war, but not Russia.
A politician, he was very careful in what he said. He wasn't going to say that he supports Nazism. He wasn't going to say that the far right in any way is similar to what it was like in Europe before the Second World War. So maybe in that sense I was unrealistic, expecting him to actually say, well, I don't like Jews, I don't like minorities, I support Hitler. I guess I was expecting him to say that, but he didn't say any of that because he's a politician and he's not going to say that on camera. We've been driving for some 2 hours. We are making our way to the German border. We're going to go past a small village, and it's here where the transit camp of Westerbork was set up. It's at this camp that all the Dutch Jews were brought and sent to the death camps of Auschwitz and Sobibor and elsewhere. So I'm just trying to imagine, if I look at the original layout of the camp, for sure most of my family stayed in some of these barracks.
And your grandmother died in this barrack. This was the hospital. Yes, she died here. And we know from Flip Slier that he was in camp 56. And that are the 3 barracks there on top. Yes, these were the prison barracks.
The punishment barracks were over here, so nothing exists anymore. So this actual ground, I wonder if Flip, did he sit on the ground here? Did he know that other members of our family were in the camp at the same time? Did he have a chance to talk to people? This is where Flip spent his last few nights before being sent to a death camp.
Lieve pa en moe,
Dear parents,
vandaag mag ik jullie
I end with the
even
hope
vragen.
that we will all be together
Ik begin
again
met te
soon
vragen,
and
hoe
everything
gaat
will
het?
shortly be behind us.
Met mij gaat
A
het
big hug
nog
and
goed,
greetings
zoals
by
jullie
your
wel
Flip.
zullen weten.
So the journey started with a very simple purpose, and that was to discover who was Flip Slier. S-C-S-L. Yeah, they have the names here. And then I discovered that not only was Flip Slier killed, but 118 other members of my family met the same fate. 16, 17, 118, 119. So 119 members of my family who were killed. So I'm flying to Poland to visit Auschwitz concentration camp, which was the worst out of all the death and concentration camps that the Nazis established. This journey took me from Holland to Poland and eventually to Auschwitz. These are the original railroad tracks that would have brought the Jews from Holland and also my family to Auschwitz-Birkenau. Now these are wagons that should be used and were used for carrying cattle. You stop here and you immediately ordered off to the left or to the right. There's chaos, people are crying, people are losing their families. You've come with your one bag of belongings. And then what would happen is you would make your way off the cattle car and you would come here, you would be immediately selected. And actually here is where the original selection was taking place. So you'd be selected. You would have mothers who wouldn't want to let go of their children, so they would be sent immediately to the gas chambers. It's hard to imagine that I'm inside a gas chamber. And it's hard to imagine I'm like touching the wall just to kind of feel that it's real.
Because here in this first crematorium of the camp where we are, you had 3 ovens. And then crematories that were later built in Birkenau had a much bigger possibility of cremating corpses.
Little bowls, little plates, little cups.
Everything.
They really
Jars.
thought that they were going to start a new home.
So if you even thought that this is just extermination, or if they knew that this was extermination, they wouldn't bother taking kilograms of normal household items.
These suitcases are wow. I mean, here you can see the names, you can see the countries. Like here it says Netherlands, and here there was one also Holland in Frank. And the dates are the dates that they...
There should be a date of birth.
A date of birth. It just, the mind boggles. I mean, you know, you look at this, look at the size of the shoes, and you think to yourself, in what way, A, could a child be a threat to anything? Nothing in Auschwitz feels real. It all feels that it's part of a different world and a different humanity in a different time.
Lieve pa,
Dear parents, I will be all alone and have nobody who cares about me besides my friends, but don't know why. Keep up the good spirit, and for sure, be prepared. Many kisses and a firm embrace. Tot ziens, Flip Slier. Pavel's information and input is very helpful. He fills in the blank spaces. He gives the story context.
People didn't really wash. They were entitled to 1 shower a month, sometimes more often, sometimes less often, but having any hygienic process was very difficult. So the clothes were dirty and smelly. People had different skin diseases. Lice and bed bugs and rats were here. So the smell was terrible. Everything was dirty, everything was smelly, and the crowd was enormous, because even if there were 4 or 5 people on one level of the bunk, we're talking about hundreds of people who stayed in such a barracks.
I'm not sure how long I would last in these conditions. How do people adapt?
You can, of course, see it during the night, if you are willing to, of course.
I think I would like to. It's a very scary thing to experience. Auschwitz was hell. Auschwitz is hell. And to visit hell at night, when everything is dark,